Okay guys, so what I'm going to do is open this bad boy up. It's one of my first videos on my YouTube channel. I just wanted to show you a new hobby that I have. I've started doing 3D printing. The brand that I've actually chose was Elegoo Mars. This is actually, I've had kind of a bad experience the last 3, or actually 2 printers. Those that may not know is the Elegoo Mars Pro actually has an array for the UV light. There is a grid pattern that projects onto your parts that actually causes a lot of problems. I experienced 2 defective devices because I was within the return policy. I didn't want to deal with ordering parts from China and waiting for them to take 3 to 4 weeks to come in, and actually looking on the forums and Facebook pages discovered that, hey, they did not fix the issue. So what I decided to do was to settle for a standard Mars, and this actually works really well. This is actually the Gen 2. So it has the upgraded build plate bolts. The Z-axis is actually the same. The stepper motor is the same as the Pro. It doesn't have the carbon filter, which was kind of mix match with the Pros. I thought it was going to work a little bit better, but switching from the Pros to the standard Mars, I did notice a difference, but it was subtle. It wasn't like the other YouTubers that were saying that you didn't get any smell from the resin. That's kind of false. I was able to definitely pick up with the water washable Elegoo resin. It was still very strong. So it was enough that I actually kicked this printer out to the garage, and it's been working fine since then. But meantime, while I was dealing with the 2 Mars Pro problems, Mars Pro 2 was announced, and it actually had an upgraded UV sending unit, or UV light source, and a monochromatic LCD screen. That was a big deal for me. The other benefit was the build plate was going to be slightly larger. So what I did was, someone actually posted that there's a link on Amazon that it was available. So that's exactly what I did. I ordered a brand new printer. This is a Mars Pro 2, and this is going to be my unboxing video. I'm going to go through the ins and outs, note some features, note some things I don't really like about it, but I'm pretty sure I'll be pretty satisfied with it. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and open it up, go through whatever I find, compare it with the Mars that I have, and then we can see exactly what they provide and what you're going to be able to expect from ordering a brand new printer. I'm hoping I'm going to be pleasantly surprised, because I was really hoping for the Pro to be better than it was, and the prints just were subpar. The standard Mars is excellent, but slower. This guy should be really fast. So, okay. So pretty standard. You have your phone, you got your protector, and your Mars. And actually, since I've actually had 2 Mars Pros and 1 standard Mars, I'm pretty expected of the same exact. In fact, it's the same box, so it's pretty standard. But one huge thing that I wasn't expecting, this is your owner's manual. Pretty standard. Now this is cool. They gave you extra FEP film. Now the 2 Pros that I had, this wasn't included, and it also didn't come with my Mars, which the box is up there. So that is awesome. Really happy about that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to your accessory box. Your toolkit. That looks to be pretty standard. Looks to be the same toolkit they usually give you. one-handed. Okay, so, all right, straight edge middle scraper. I will go without this guy. I would really like to use, this is the one that came with my regular Mars. If you notice, it is rounded. I really recommend taking it to the grinder and doing that, because that right there, with those corners, will literally scratch the mess out of your build plate, especially on the Pro with its the CD finish they had. This is supposed to be a sandblasted format, so this probably won't matter, but I definitely recommend having rounded edges. Okay, so it looks like they give you, all right, your standard tools, extra bolts, your metal scraper, power supply, and that's the power supply. Plenty of gloves. Actually, I know they probably are, but these actually look like latex. Not really a fan of that, considering this is my Mars toolbox, and what they give you is clearly nitrate gloves. So I'm going to continue using these. Not sure why they gave me these, but dealing with what I normally deal with, those look like latex. Now, of course, that's your USB drive, so you're going to need that. It's going to have your G code on for your new, probably the new files to print, formatted for the new layer hive. So you're probably going to need that for your samples. Pretty standard, regular stuff. Paint filters, gasket, which honestly fits like Dookie. This is the same exact one they had on their Pro 1. Not a fan. Those actually come off really easy. You got your snips, standard plastic squeegee, some mask, and actually these are the, looks like the carbon activated ones. So depending on which printer, I guess what's available. I've had some with just a standard blue surgical masks in one Pro, and then the other Pro was these, and then the Mars, the standard Mars came with just regular non-surgical again. So again, the gloves and actually the masks are, I guess, availability dependent. I saw these back in here. Again, this is huge because this wasn't included with anything before, so that's awesome. And that's just one less thing I have to order. That over there. There it is. Looks pretty good. I'm a fan. All right. Looks pretty standard. No difference in height that I can tell. So let's get at it. So far it's pretty standard. Be very careful with taking this off. I've seen it on, they put the build plate in there, so you want to make sure it doesn't fall and break anything. So just be careful at this. Okay, so this is the new build plate. This is my Mars build plate with the modded knob. So that's actually pretty awesome, because the original mod knob actually was too long. It extended out to about right here. So me doing this, I gained like 15 millimeters of extra Z-axis, which was pretty cool. The reason why you had to have a shorter knob is because if not, it would actually hit the lid of the printer. And actually, if you see, I didn't wait till the super glue cured enough, that it actually started to leave like a mark. You can probably look in the lid and see like there's like a little dot right there where like some of the super glue was curing above it. But other than that, we are up to the next step. Okay. All right, so at this point, the vat looks to be the same vat that they use, and I'm hoping that it's the same vat that they use for the Mars Pro, because I just bought some plastic vats for the regular Mars, which this is one of the first mods you need to do. I printed a vinyl decal to go around here to protect if the FEP leaks, or if you have a crack, or if you spill. It's really easy to spill in the vat when you're trying to drain your part. It will get on the lip and drain right underneath it, and it can potentially get underneath your screen. So I haven't looked at this yet. So far everything looks pretty good. Yeah, looks like they do have a screen protector. I did not see a screen protector on my Mars Pros, so that's something new to me. So clearly you're gonna have to peel that off. But this new build plate is so much bigger. So kind of a good example. See how small that LCD is? That's the new build plate on a standard Mars. Yeah, it's a pretty big difference. So I'm pretty excited about that. All right. Okay, so one thing I did want to check. This is the new bat that came with the Mars 2. I believe this looks exactly the same as the Mars Pro bat that came with the regular Mars Pro 1, not the Mars Pro 2 only. I was concerned that with the bigger build plate, they changed everything up. So what I originally bought was the 2 plastic resin tanks, which are awesome because of the simple fact that you actually have a lid, which is great. So whenever you want to try a different resin, slide it off, put this lid. Now I wish this lid actually would fit with these knobs in a way, but of course they won't. But with the lid off, let's not mess up that guy. The new bat. So this is a standard vat, so it's different. It definitely is less capacity than the Pro, which has markings, which is cool. But I want to point out something is this has markings on it too. It's hard to see, but it's got markings on it as well. So that's awesome. So this guy fits, of course, the Pro just fine, but it also fits the standard Mars and Mars Pro vats, which awesome because these are like $39.99 with a $3 coupon, so they're like 36 bucks for 2. So for me, it is worth buying 2 of these with a lid instead of fooling with FEPs. I'm sorry, I don't want to worry about getting them not tightened enough or loose enough. I don't want to deal with any of that. So these are an awesome buy. And honestly, I don't know how they're plastic. They say they're plastic. Listen, I know they got a metal bottom on them, but I swear, I think they sent me the aluminum ones, because if you look at the pictures, the plastic ones have like ribs inside of them. But I saw the new reviews and they state that this actually is the new version, which I'm telling you, these sound, they'll sound metal to me. Sounds pretty metal to me, but like I said, and I can probably go ahead and, well, I can't slide it on right now. Well, I can. Uh-oh. I'll have to look into that. So I'm not sure why that doesn't want to slide in when this guy will. So, uh-oh. Maybe that might be an overlook, because those guys are all the way. Well, maybe. No, maybe it's just really tight. Okay, well, it does fit. Okay. And these are the vats that I'm probably more likely use. I'm going to save this guy. I'm going to put him back in the box because I don't have a cover for it. These I have covers for, and this won't work on a standard Mars. The one that came with it, the aluminum tank that does come with that, it will not work. It only works on this style. So for that benefit, if I put some resin in it and I want to change it out, or if I have a failed print and I don't really want to mess with it, I don't have to. I can just grab my next clean vat, throw it on there, and be all ready to go. Now, this is interesting. I don't know if you can make this out, but this is the new power adapter. This is the one that came with the Mars 2 Pro. It's actually a 12-volt 4-amp output. This is a 60-watt 12-volt by 5-amp output. Now, I know the standard Mars Pro came with a 70-watt power supply, and it's interesting enough that the standard Mars, that guy, looks to have a more powerful power supply. It's a little weird. See, this is clearly a less, it's 1 amp less output than 60 watt, but I am going to power it with this one. It's connected up, and I'm going to power on the regular Mars with its 60 watt. Okay, so I have the standard Mars plugged in. You can hear its loud fan. I do want to point out something different. I haven't turned this on yet, but something I'm not a fan of is this other power supply is also a straight input. It's not a 90-degree like the one for the Mars and Mars Pro. That's kind of terrible, because if you're trying to put this up against the wall, used to be the USB stick, or if you have a USB adapter, was the problem. You couldn't slide in there. With that being a straight entry like that, I'm not really a fan of that. So I might have an option of getting a power supply similar to the standard Mars or the Mars Pro, but that right there kind of does suck, because you can't have that up against the wall. So let's go ahead and power it on. Uh-oh. Okay, so maybe I didn't have it screwed in all the way. Like the standard Mars, the power supply has a blue light. Make sure that light actually comes on your power supply. I did not have this all the way in, so I look like an idiot trying to power this thing on. So let's go ahead and, of course, the switch is on the back. Hey, we have a Mars 2 Pro. And the fan is on. That's not too much This one actually probably a little bit louder. This has got a secondary fan. You know what? I think that's actually a little bit more powerful than the one that was coming with my Pro. Oh, again, like when I was pointing out mass, okay, these came with my Mars Pro. These came with my standard Mars. So I guess the gloves and the masks are just dependent on supply, which is understandable. They're just tossing it in as expendable stuff for you. So there we go. Well, let's see if I can actually make this guy go up. Pretty standard stuff now. Of course, it's on that fancy Z-axis that I don't have on this guy. But again, I did look up this stepper motor right here, which I re-greased, is the same when you're trying to look up parts as the standard Mars. So here it goes. It's climbing. Oh, you can go a little higher. Now, what I like to do is make it go up and down a few times to get whatever grease they have in there working through. Now, I do rest my finger near here because I don't want it to start grinding, because I have had this guy, even before I changed the G-code to use the new knob, it would still climb to the sky and would try to grind right here. I don't know. But other than that, I have no problem with this guy. So, I have not seen any screen action. So let's go ahead and go back. Let's go to start. What I like to do, we can go and test our exposure. Yeah, why not? Let's see what this does. Ooh, fancy. Looks like they have their name up there. Okay. So it's actually displaying that. Let's go ahead and end that. Alright. So give me 1 second. So just to show the exposure test, I already just cut this sheet of paper down. Let's go ahead and get this to tools, clean tank, and I'll go ahead and do next. Alright, so this is on the standard Mars. See how that's nice and uniform? On on the Pros, this it's got lines and code marks. It's just terrible. Okay, I'm gonna do this guy next. This right now is on the standard Mars. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop that. Alright, so I will come back over here. We will do the same test. Now I have not peeled this off yet. You know what? Why not? Can't sell it on eBay now. Alright, so I have peeled that off. Ooh, looks like they have a built-in little gasket they put around it. Very nice, because I made that. I got a vinyl cutter over there, and I just printed it off, and works great. I'll probably still make one because I've already got it perfectly to do this radius, so I'll probably double stick one up here, but that's pretty nice that they actually have that there. So let's go ahead and go to clean tank. Alright. See how the other one was default in 45 seconds? It was also 45 seconds on the Mars Pro 1. But because this has got that new fancy dancy screen, I bet you it only needs 15 seconds to really ruin all the resin you have in there. So, sheet of paper so I don't blind myself. And next. Let's see what she looks like. Whoa. You know, I think that kind of blurring to you, but since somebody who's actually dealt with returning 2 printers, just because this thing's got a grid, that is a beautiful sign. Excellent, excellent, excellent sign. Alright, so I'm probably going to level this. Okay, so what you're going to want to do, take your provided Allen wrench, loosen this one and this one. So this guy should be pretty loose. Okay, so what you're going to do is make this, you're going to press this home button. It's going to come completely down on your sheet of paper. After that, you're going to hit your, change it to 10 millimeter, which you can probably go ahead and do. And then you're going to bump it up just enough that the piece of paper comes out on its own with just a little bit of force. So I'm going to go do that now. Alright. Pressing the home button. Waiting. Still not a fan of that power supply not having not being flat on the rear. That's a 90 on the end. That's that kind of janky. And I'm willing to bet this is probably dependent on supply. I'll bet you some people are going to get the 90 degree and some people ain't. Whatever, don't care. Okay, so you're going to want to get this as centered as possible. Okay. So what I like to do is look from the side, so you can see if it's actually straight. Okay, hold it down, tighten this one first, and I tighten this bad boy. I don't really muck around. They gave you the longer bolts for a reason, so tighten those jokers. This was the problem with the Mars first gens, was you couldn't really get these super tight, so when you were taking your print off, they would get loose. So I'm not a fan of having to re-tighten these all the time, so I bear down on these suckers and it should be fine. Alright, now I'm going to bump it up one. Yeah. Came out just fine. Alright, so now, very important, if you don't forget that step, you got to set your 0. There's my new 0, and that plate looks decently straight. Straight enough for government work. Alright, so you're going to want to bring this bad boy up. It's pretty slow. I do want to point out, do not leave this plastic on. I did that. I don't recommend it, because what happens is you leave this and you're protecting it. You're like, oh yeah, I don't want to get my nasty fingerprints. Problem is, see this lip you create? Well, when you spill some resin on it, it pulls right here, or it pulls right underneath it, and you don't notice that until like whenever it does start to cure, and it will literally ruin your cover. So peel it off. Just be careful with it. Just like I did on this one, I created a lid. I created a handle. That would actually help you clean it more than anything that you possibly can think of. But see, got resin on it. I did that by keeping the plastic on there. I didn't notice it. I peeled the plastic up. I did not notice that it was actually pooling right here. If you look, it got on the inside of it. So it ruined my Mars lid. I don't reckon, and I got some clear, like transparent vinyl. Put that on there. If you're worried about it, put that on there. You touch this, you can peel this off, and you have a perfect lid underneath it. So that's what I would recommend. Is my unboxing. I have the lid installed. I think we are all set. So we're gonna go 10. And come on, give me all the Z. Right there. And just like this guy. Not much is different. But this is supposed to have the new kick-ass screen. So, well guys, appreciate you watching my video. You made it this far, so congratulations. Thanks for watching my unboxing video of the Elegoo Mars Pro 2. Not to be mistaken with the Pro 1. Garbage. But if you liked my content, please subscribe. I'll probably have more resin-based 3D printing tips and advice. Probably just more showcasing my screw-ups. But hey, be a fun watch. The rest of my channel is probably going to have more of car-related TR66 transmission rebuilds, drag racing. I do drag race a Mustang. I got a GT500 that I try to race poorly. If you're interested in those, please subscribe. We'll probably have more of that content. But again, thanks for watching, and hope to see you again soon. Thanks. Note something. I don't know what this is, but at first I thought it was like just fingerprints. That straight up looks like glue or something on my screen. I'm gonna look into it, but it's no bueno. So, not too happy with this. Not sure what the hell that is. But if you look, there's scratches on this screen already. That straight up looks like resin that's on the screen. Not too happy with that at all. What the hell? Yeah, what is that? So, I just filled that off, and it's on there. What the hell? Elegoo? Well, I'm going to report that this thing is garbage. So, you can see, now right there, and right there. I'm doing a full screen exposure print, and you can see let me stop it. What I was noting earlier, right there, right there, and right there. Looks like it's delaminating. See? Brand new. You can see that it starts right here, all the way right here, and right there. I honestly, I don't know what to say about it. Elegoo. their quality control just went completely down the toilet. And it is showing up. If I did a full exposure, this is actually showing up. I was hoping that maybe like this is just something they didn't tape off part of the screen, but no, it is. And it's already scratched. I've already wiped it now. I'm trying to touch it and stuff, but I can wipe this completely off and you can see there's already scratches on it. And literally, all I literally did was peel this off, and you can see in the glue that shape is already there. Perfect, but there's already glue. I mean, it's got lint and stuff, but I literally just peeled it up and like, yeah, you can see it. Two Mars Pros, and now a brand new Mars Pro 2 that frankly are garbage. Okay, update. It's boxed back up. I'm going to put it back. So apparently, there's a polarizing layer. It's damaged on the screen and it's already scratched. All I did was peel off the protective screen. I thought it was fine. That's what I continued to go on with my testing. But the follow-up is the quality control. It's just terrible with this company. Two pros, both had the grid issues. Contacted Elegoo. They wanted to send me parts, but I already was aware from several people that the parts didn't fix it. So I sent it back using Amazon's return policy. Then I got the standard Mars. And when the Pro 2 came along, I was like, man, that mono screen is going to be awesome. And sure enough, everything on paper sounds great, but I'm going to include the reasoning why this junk is going back. And I highly recommend staying away from this company until they get their stuff together. I may try to return this and get another Pro 2, but I mean, it's getting to a point that Amazon's not going to return anything because it's going to be like borderline fraud where it looks like I'm just returning stuff just to return it when they're defective. I'm trying to get a correct printer. This one, even after I removed the protective screen, it was scratched. There was like fine scratches on it. So I tried to clean it, and I used a microfiber for Oakley, so it's a really fine eyeglass microfiber, so it isn't just like car cleaning microfiber to scratch it. I also used a glass cleaner, but I thought where the corner was coming up, I thought it was like a piece of the glue or something from the residue. No, it wasn't residue. It was actually the polarizing layer messed up. So anyways, this is where I'm going to end the video. Thanks.